Hey everybody. Hey. Welcome to Mondays in the Meditation Room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. I'm so glad you're joining me on tonight for another episode of Mondays in the Meditation Room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. Just reflections and reasoning together and conversations about what it means to be a Black woman in midlife, experiencing some continuum of the pause, menopause, that is, perimenopause, menopause, post-menopause, or just curious about it and want to know. So welcome, because this is the sacred space for all things enlightenment and empowerment for Black women in midlife. I'm so glad to be in this space. So glad for all of the advancements and the new conversations that are happening about it. It's been, man, I want to say 5, 6 years since I kind of entered into the space, and I'm so glad to see that, especially for Black women, things are getting better because we are determined to reimagine, redefine, right? And reinvent our lives in this amazing time called midlife. So, welcome to the room. Go ahead and share the information with your sister friends because I know y'all talking about what's going on in your life. Then invite them into the room. Don't be the only one coming into the room. Come on, invite your sister and let her know that we are in the room and invite her to join you because this is a community. This is a sisterhood. This is a tribe with the vibe. And the vibe is rediscovering the joy of who we are. It is safety, right? We are safe. And this is really a divine moment that you get to prioritize yourself and take the time for yourself to encourage yourself and another sister. So come on in, come on in. Welcome to the room. You can go ahead and let me know who you are. Hey, Sister Max, and say hello. And hello to the sisters, whether they're live or they're watching the replay. And as always, go ahead and share your experiences, your wisdom, your insight, because even as sisters come back and watch the replay or we review it, we help each other by sharing our stories. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming on back during the month of Black History Month. Hey, Sister Lisa, through Black History Month, and we are now in Women's History Month. Woohoo! I'm so excited. I love Women's History Month, and I always learn something new, and I'm always reminded of how powerful and resilient Black women are, women in general, and in particular Black women, because that's my only vantage point in this earth. My only vantage point and experience is as a Black woman, and it's also very good, as Tabitha Brown says, very good. It's also very good to expand your experience in circles and make friends with women of all walks of life, so that we can understand each other. We might not always understand, but we can have some empathy and understanding and compassion, and kindness for others who walk a walk that we don't walk, and invite others to understand ours as well. But don't apologize for who you are in the journey that you've had thus far, and stand in the truth of what it means for us to be Black women in America and in the world. And even more particular for us right now as Black women in midlife, whether you're at the beginning or the middle or the end of it, experiencing this rite of passage, that we call the pause, whether you're in perimenopause or have just experienced that 24-hour period in menopause. And once that 24-hour period is over, you're now post-menopause. So wherever you are on that continuum, and wherever you are as Black women, acknowledging, and go back and watch some of the other episodes, because we talk about the fact that research bears out that Black women often begin menses earlier, and then begin perimenopause earlier, and it often lasts much longer for us, and our symptoms are often more intense. So it's good to educate yourself. I'm excited having completed my menopause specialist coach program and working on the content for my coaching program, so that we can empower women as we go, and not just women, but start even early, as soon as our young girls start their first menstrual cycle. And we're going to be talking about that this month. I'm excited that I'll be having a guest on talking about that, and because I want to make sure we have the whole gamut of experiences that we're having as women. Uh, my daughters are going to be joining me later this month as my co-host, and we're going to have some guests on to talk about different things that affect us on different levels of that. And my goal is to normalize the conversation, right? Destigmatize our reproductive health as women, and to decolonize our well-being. And we will break that down at some later point, but not tonight. But that is the goal. But welcome into the room. We laugh, we cry, we stretch, get out our comfort zones, and see ourselves as God sees us. So, in this Women's History Month, I'm actually purposefully just going to be on for about 30 minutes on tonight. I have quite a bit on my plate, and but I don't want this one to come off my plate. So I just adjust and tweak a little. I'm glad I tweaked it to start a little bit earlier, and then we're tweaking just a little bit. Did you join last week when we did fourth Sundays, Lord, fourth Mondays in the meditation room with the Hazes, under our conversational midlife marriage? Love is midlife marriage, and man, we talked about love in transition. Y'all, that was some good stuff. So you need to go to the YouTube page, Kelly B. Hayes YouTube page, Lord, and listen to that. So we are enjoying those fourth Mondays and hearing from the Lord how to continue to be a blessing and to encourage marriages in midlife. Woo! Come on. So do that. And then tonight, because this is our kickoff for Women's History Month 2024, and we are under the theme the entire month: honor the power of your womanhood. Honor the power of your womanhood. And when Holy Spirit gave me that topic, I said, well, what? Honor the power of our womanhood. Because it's imperative, because even as women make up half of the population of the planet, right? And on many times in our workspaces, in our worship spaces, right? Our families, it is the women who are often the constant, the steady, the foundation, the presence, the strength. Yet we're often still seen as less than or second class citizens, still really shaking off the residue of Old Testament thinking and trying to come into some different New Testament thinking in terms of who God created us to be. In the beginning, you know, God gave man and woman dominion, right? And God created us brilliant problem solvers, solution oriented, courageous women, but we were often seen as property, right? Um, and just something to be used by men, subjugated, oppressed, and oftentimes abused to try to keep us in our place. But I want to disabuse you and anybody else that's listening from the thought that women are second class citizens to be owned and possessed and oppressed. And sometimes that conditioning can get into a woman's psyche, and they begin to think of themselves as less than, or needing somebody to validate their existence and their worth and their power, right? And sometimes we give it away. So when all of that started going through my mind, and even with my own struggles, as a woman, second guessing, not necessarily um, knowing my complete worth for a long swath of my life, a long period of my life, and it didn't even matter actually that I was blessed to have a husband who's very supportive and encouraging and loving and present and all of that. If you have in your mind, or if you have experiences or family of origin trauma or experiences, you can bring that even into a pretty healthy relationship and cause some challenges in it if you don't allow yourself to heal and see yourself with a level or modicum of self-worth and self-love and confidence and chutzpah for your own self, right? Because your relationships are only as healthy as you are, and you have to do the inner work. And so when Spirit gave me that, then all of those things came to my mind and said, wow, thank you, Holy Spirit, for that, to honor the power of your womanhood. You are not weak. You are not, that doesn't mean we don't have moments of vulnerability. And I'm saying inherently, you are not just a weak willed person to be controlled and told what to do and how to live their life, and needing permission to excel and use your gifts and talents in life. And so I'm saying God was saying to us to honor the power of our womanhood. That womanhood is a sacred assignment from God. Whew, y'all, grab a hold of that, because that's how God created us, right? So to honor really means to show respect and esteem. And so we're saying, honor yourself, take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your spirit, find ways to have joy, and find ways to manage your output of energy, so to the point that you are not over extending yourself to the point that you don't have your own life. Make sure that you're not living somebody else's fantasy or dream or desire for your life, and you're not living your own. Honor your own journey, which is why after the word power, I put your. So what we're saying is we're honoring, showing respect and esteem, right, to the fact that we uh, possess control, authority, autonomy, right, advocacy for our own self and our own right to determine the trajectory or the tenor of our lives, right? And I put your because every woman's walk is unique and different. So all women are not the same, and that's the other thing, because they like to just lump women all into the same category, as if we don't have our own mind and experience and unique giftedness. And then they try to do that, especially for Black women, right? We are lumped all in the same, and they want to say, women, as Zora Neale Hurston says, they see us as the mule of the world. In other words, we do all the work. We're expected to do all the work. We even come from a history for those of us who are descendants of enslaved persons in America. As a part of our history, we were seen as property and breeders and workers, right? And so some of that is is repeated or trying to tap into all the time, to say that that's all, we're good for, is um, sex to bring pleasure to men, birth babies, right? Or do the work of the church or the job, the office, or the family, right? We are supposed to be the ones to do all of that. But We have to know for ourselves our worth so that we don't allow ourselves to be defined by anyone else. We're lumped into being the angry, quote unquote, Black woman. Well, the truth of the matter is we have a whole lot to be angry about. So we don't need to have people tell us that we don't we are anger is just our first emotions all the time, and that they need to be afraid of us, and we just complaining for no reason and have a chip on our shoulders for no reason. No, we have a whole lot to be angry about, but that's not who we are. And you don't get to define me by that or take away my freedom or right to be angry if I have something to be angry about. Just because you are intimidated by that, my brilliance and strength and power and voice does not mean that it's wrong. It's just another way of controlling women. And so you have to know that. So we're talking about honoring the power of your womanhood. So don't allow people to put you in a box and label you. Your walk, your experiences, right? Your DNA, your fingerprint, all of that is unique to you. And so whatever makes you a woman is what makes you a woman. What I enjoy and and say this is what makes me feel like a woman might not be what makes you feel like a woman, or really just who we are comfortable in our skin being. There is no one way to woman. Don't you love it? There's no one way to woman, right? And so you get to define what that feels like to you. So honor the power of your womanhood, because your authenticity is your superpower, is your staying power, is that which keeps you in your right mind. Because when we're trying to be somebody else, we're not in our right mind. We're forcing our mind to think other than what is natural for us to be. And that's why it wears on us and it tears on us. And we have to acknowledge that, as Black women, even going through menopause, we talked about this earlier, and I'm preparing it for as a part of a presentation that I'm doing at Wellspring Manor and Spa as they get ready for their mind, soul, spirit, and body retreat in April. I'm doing a workshop on thriving in menopause. And one of the things that is specific to us as Black women is what some researchers are referring to as weathering, that sometimes our symptoms are even worse for us because we're also dealing with racial or racialized oppression and aggression, micro or macro aggressions that happen in the workplaces or just in the world. So we're constantly in that fight or flight stage, which is not good because it releases cortisol all the time. Our bodies are not meant to constantly be stressed, constantly be on edge, to constantly wonder what is going on, or dealing with major or minor depression because in our workplaces, people are constantly overlooking us or ignoring us or taking our ideas or expecting us to train somebody who's less trained than us and look over us for our promotions. Just the stress of reading something in the news or watching something on the news, being afraid for our children when they go out. All of that affects how our immune system functions. Being that stressed all the time can cause compromise to our immune system. And so when we then start dealing with the decline in estrogen, we don't have the same protections as we normally do. All of that coming together as a perfect storm for Black women can be challenging. And especially as we go through the symptoms more intense and longer, it can open us up to other chronic illnesses like diabetes and heart disease or cardiovascular disease, right? And so we have to be mindful of all of that and honor our bodies and the power of our body and mind to heal itself, right? If we take care of it, if we feed it the things that will lend to our optimal health, right? Hydrate it and move it. Those things seem so simple, but if you're not conditioned to do so, and if you're always putting yourself on the back burner, it's hard to break out of those habits. And so we have to learn how to honor the power, the efficacy, the authority, right? The control, the um the agency that we have as being a woman, right? And so I just want us to start thinking about that. Start thinking about it for yourself. In what way can you start honoring the power of your womanhood, your unique way that God has created you? Because, there are just certain things that are specific to women. Now, notwithstanding persons who are non-binary or trans or feel like they are in the wrong body, and so they do things to change. This is not that kind of conversation. I'm not trying to, you know, exclude anybody or tell anybody they are or they aren't. I can only speak from where I am, and my heart and my God is big enough to allow people to walk their walk and walk their journey, however they see fit. So what I was getting ready to say was, for us, it is specifically clear on what makes us a woman. Our sex hormones, our genitals, right? And having breasts. That is uniquely a part of being a woman, right? Having a uterus, having ovaries and fallopian tubes, cervix, vagina, that makes us a woman. Having breasts, that those are literally unique things that make us who we are. But at the same, not but, and at the same time, those also can be things that are used against us, that we are oppressed by, right? So there's so much going on in this menopausal space that happens to over half of the women. Can I tell you, 1.2, I think it's either 1.2 or 1.5 million women will be somewhere in the menopausal continuum and be postmenopausal in the next 10 to 15 years. And it might even be sooner than that, but there's not enough research happening to help women with this season of their lives. Most work environments are not conducive for those seasons in our lives. And so even though we have things that we go through that are unique to us, even, particular illnesses or cancers or things, a lot of research has not been gone, has not been done to create a overall health system that can deal with what we're going through right now. Now, of course, there's more research going on, and in particular, a lot of Black women are not even included in the research, and so sometimes the outcomes or the advantages for certain treatments and stuff don't take our particular bodies and experiences into account. And so we are really, there's organizations now that are really working at getting more African Americans to take part in research that's specific to us and for us. And so we need to know that sometimes inequities happen literally because we're women. Did you know that sometimes going to the cleaners can cost women more than men, just for whatever reason they charge us more, right? Going to the doctors and all of that kind of stuff, they charge us more to take care of our bodies. It's just ludicrous, right? That we are penalized for being women, right? You can't be in a work environment, and if you get pregnant, they act like you can't think no more because you carrying a child, that you're not as astute or as bright or as smart or as strategic, right? And then they want to just ship you off and send you away, right? There's no we're fighting continually for the paid leave when you have to go out, and because the majority of women are caregivers, and women have to often choose between a career and their family, or career and their parents, or career and a loved one that may be sick. And not to mention pay equity, right? They don't want to pay women the same because, first of all, the one that was the most egregious was if you're married, they're like, oh, we don't have to pay you as much because your husband working. You got a husband and they working, so you don't need to make as much money. Whew, this is stuff that men have literally said about why women don't need to be paid equally for the same work or the same job, or they just don't think women are worth the same amount as men. And so there are all of these things that can affect us. And thank God some things have changed, but for some things, the more they change, the more they stay the same, right? And we still have to fight that same fight, just like we find ourselves fighting the same fight for civil rights and voting rights. Who would have thunk it that we would be right back here trying to do that? And the attack on women's bodies and our control over them, who would have thunk it? But our thing is not to get weary in well doing, but to let's take some time this month to honor the power of your womanhood, celebrate it, and all that that comes with, right? And we do it in community, and we do it in sisterhood, and we take the time to educate ourselves about our bodies, because that's the other thing. As we prepare to sign off for tonight, many of us have no idea on just the basic inner workings of our bodies. We may have had some health classes when we were coming through elementary school and maybe even up to junior high, but the actual working of our hormones, our sex hormones, right? What they do and how important it is for us to know and pay attention to our bodies, especially if you're still having a cycle. You may not have been taught anything about it. Tampons and pads or whatever might just been thrown at you and say, here, this how you put this on. And we have come so far, and so I'm aging myself when I know what it was like. Remember, y'all used to have those sanitary belts to, we had those huge one size fits all pads, right? And you had to be able to learn how to hook that thing around the hook and get it just right. And oh my God, you just was fearful of going anywhere. You didn't want to go to school or nothing, because that's been the worst thing ever, to either start your cycle or leak through onto your clothes, right? Oh my God, you used to hate to sit down and didn't want to get back up. If you were at work on public transportation or where you were and got up and had that big gush, man, we have had to deal with some stuff. And I don't know about you, but back in the day, we used to have to wear gym uniforms, and we used to have to go change, and we didn't want to be in gym doing all that playing kickball and all that kind of stuff. And we was on our cycle. Oh my God. Yes, Facebook is that you, Sue B, again? Yes, because somebody said that big box of Kotex. You could be a small frame woman or little girl, and they weren't no sizes like they were now. Wasn't no wings, wasn't no, even now they have a literal underwear that is supposed to be absorbent enough where you don't even wear pads. And then, the tampons and all, oh my God, can I tell you? As women, we mostly kind of look at that so negatively versus being taught to celebrate that as a part of our womanhood, having those moments. Because in some new organizations are out, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you some of those organizations where they literally see that as a rite of passage for young women, where the women in the family or the women in their community pull them together and give them a gift box, and they speak well of them, they teach them, they educate them. Oh, it's my cousin Sonny. Hey, Sonny. They educate them and they celebrate that rite of passage into womanhood. Most of us are just terrified straight. Our parents, our mothers, our aunts are just terrified because now the only thing they think about is, Lord, they can get pregnant. Right? But that's no right. That's no way to honor what that means, and then the education that needs to go into that, and then teaching really how our body works and what hormones are doing or not doing. And many of us just hit this area of perimenopause and didn't know what in the world was going on. And now everybody from Oprah to stars on TV. I recorded something that I'm going to put on the page, and I was on my lunch break, and I was watching. I think it was the Sherry. No, it was Jennifer Hudson show, and Tashina Arnold was on there, and she had this little like fan thing on her neck because Jennifer Hudson had given her it. And she said, I have it on right now. It's blowing right now, making me cool because I'm like right in the middle of menopause. And it's like, so now, like the conversation is normalized. People are like, if Oprah talking about it, if Tabitha Brown talking about it, and we all gonna talk about it. But let it be known today that we've been talking about it on Mondays in the meditation room and in the Enlightened Woman book and in our Serenity experiences for a minute, right? And so I'm just glad to see that we're starting to have conversation about it, to not make it such a scary thing to be hidden, and that it is embarrassing for us to talk about the things that are going on in our bodies. So Women's History Month, y'all, honor the power of your womanhood. Follow me on IG at Enlightened Woman Enterprise or Kelly B. Hayes, really more than Enlightened Woman, and then the Enlightened Woman Facebook page and the YouTube channel. And don't forget, guys, the Serenity Experience 2024 is coming September 20th and 21st, and registration is open. Yes, you can go right to enlightenedwoman.global and click on the Serenity Experience. You do not want to miss it. I'm so excited. We're expanding, we're growing, and we want you there. Oh man, it's going to be amazing. It is the Serenity Experience for women in midlife, where we are coming together as women, and we're learning and we're encouraging one another, and we're healing in the midst of that space. So we're going to be back at the Pearl Modern Spa Boutique in Columbia, Maryland. Again, our hotel is the Meriwether Lake House Pavilion. We've been doing it. Last year was our first time there, and some of my friends and other people are also having events there. So it's been a blessing. It's going to be a blessing. I mean, where else would you want to be than in a spa? You can get some spa services, spend some time with us. Friday and Saturday. This year, the registration includes it all. It includes Friday and Saturday. 3 expert guests is going to be with us as we focus on well, worthy, and wealthy. So don't forget, go ahead and you need to go ahead and pay your deposit. That's how we're going to save your seat. We want to make sure you save your seat, pay your deposit, and I'm even allowing you to do your payment for your deposit into payments. So we're making it as easy as possible, but it is an investment for that time, and you are worth the investment. And more information will be coming. Thank y'all for hanging out with me on Mondays in the meditation room. I said we were only going to be 30 minutes. We're 5 minutes over. But this is it for this evening. And I love this graphic. Don't you love that? Mondays in the meditation room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. Our March theme is honor the power of your womanhood. I love y'all. I'm looking forward to these months coming up as we enter into the spring season. We're going to do some more minnow lounges on the move. I'm excited about that. So look for more information as we find ways to go out and try things and be adventurous in this season of our lives, and we're doing it together. All right. So I absolutely love y'all. Be at peace on tonight and honor yourself. Get some good rest and be patient and kind and compassionate with yourself in this season in your life. Because guess what? It's an opportunity to grow, get to know yourself, and step into your power. Absolutely love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.